What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome back to the 2nd Street Marvel. So it's a new week and it's another new comic book day, and of course Marvel has some more titles out for the Dawn of X series, you know, Jonathan Hickman's reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe. And today I am going to be reviewing Marauders issue number 9. Now guys, in case you haven't been paying attention, Marauders is one of my favorite series coming out of the Dawn of X series after the House of X and Powers of X. Marauders is right there at the top along with X-Force. And then of course there's X-Men as well, but Marauders has been pretty solid so far. Now this book is being written by Jerry Dugan. The art is done by Matteo Lolli. Edgar Delgado is the color artist. VC's Joe Caramagna is the letterer, Tom Muller on design, Russell Dodderman and Matthew Wilson are the cover artists, and I gotta say that is I don't know, it's an interesting cover. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. It's interesting to say the least. So guys, you know we know what's been going on in Marauders, and this is going to be a non-spoiler review. We know what's been going on in Marauders. For the most part, we've seen that it's been a lot of arm wrestling between Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost for that third seat in the Hellfire Trading Company, which has already been occupied by Kate Pryde, who was just recently killed by Sebastian Shaw. So, you know, a lot of that has kind of come up, and, you know, a prominent force lately has been the Hellfire Club coming out of Madripoor, which is like Cade Kilgore and a couple of, you know, other, you know, his other little friends over there. And they've been purchasing drugs and things like that through, you know, through whatever means, and they have this basically this thing, a little faction called Hominis Verendi, and so they've kind of been assimilating, you know, some people to kind of fight back against the mutants, and, you know, somewhat, you know, just cause some ruckus here with everything that's been going on. And we get a lot more of that here in Marauders issue number 9, where we're getting the Hellfire Trading Company dealing with the Hellfire Club here. And as we know, a couple of issues ago, we seen that Pyro had been injected with, you know, Yellow Jacket. Remember, Yellow Jacket got, you know, well, you can see that right there, right? Yellow Jacket got injected inside of him, and it became like, you know, Inner Space. That movie Inner Space, remember, from the 80s with Dennis Quaid? Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. And that's kind of what it came like, and he was pretty much like broadcasting a signal back to Madripoor for them all to see. And so, you know, that's kind of what's been going on here. Well, he's been in there just kind of surveying everything. Well, here in this issue, after a kind of very silly introduction to this book, we see that Emma Frost, whenever Pyro had returned from Madripoor from a mission, Emma Frost was kind of sitting there like, as a, you know, she's a telepath. She was scanning everybody as they were coming through, and she's like, wait, there's a stowaway, and, you know, she's telling Bishop about it, and he's like, what? And she's like, yeah, it's in Pyro, and that's kind of what's going on in this book, as they are dealing with Yellow Jacket being inside of Pyro. That's what's going on throughout a lot of this book. For the most part, and I've got to say, it was interesting. It was definitely some interesting stuff here. There is also some other things in here going on that I was talking about here the other day, where we know that not too long ago, you know, Wolverine issue number 1 came out a couple of weeks ago. Remember issue number 1, and there was that agent in there, Jeff Bannister. Remember, and I was talking in one of my videos about, I think he's the guy that's been writing the letters here in Marauders, right? I think he's the guy that's writing the letters here. It'd be interesting, because a lot of the things he says, the same kind of humor and things like that. Well, in here we get a little bit of insight into what my some of my theories were. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right or anything. I'm not saying that, but I had a feeling that the person writing the letters in here was Jeff Bannister, and in this issue we get a little bit more insight into who it is writing these letters in here. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about here at the end of this book is there is a very interesting scene here going on in Krakoa, with some things that Emma Frost has to go check up on. Something that I think a lot of us were kind of wondering about and kind of concerned about with a lot of the recent events in Marauders and even X-Force. Just a lot of the things that has been going on with Krakoa and just the mutants in general. A lot of interesting things. A lot of interesting things happen in the Marauders every single issue. This is the series where you're getting all that stuff about the Krakoan drugs and then going to save the mutants and bring them back to Krakoa and dealing with the drugs for the most part. We don't get any Sebastian Shaw in this issue. And I've got to say, while I do kind of miss that, he wasn't missed in this issue because there's some very serious things going on in this issue. Guys, this is, there's only 2 books this week. There's only this and Excalibur, which I'll be shooting a separate review for this week. But guys, this is an important one this week. Make sure that you go out and read this book and share what your thoughts are on exactly what's going on here at the end of this book, because there's some pretty heavy stuff going on here towards the end of this book. I really like Marauders has, I don't know, it's been really well written and it's been very weighty, but I like the story that's going on in this one. Very interesting stuff. It's not so much that arm wrestling over that third seat or in the Quiet Council. None of that's really going on here, but it is kind of involving that. Very, very good stuff. The writing here I thought was very good. I like the story, what was going on here. What I don't like about this issue, I will tell you, some of the stuff I don't like here is, like I said, this very silly opening. Actually, the opening of this book kind of gets you thinking, whoa, hey, well, like, what? Well, one of the things is a lot of the art in this book really bugs me. Like, we get this scene right here. I don't want to show you too much, but we get this scene right here, and we get Jean Grey, and I just like that art is really off. It's bad. I can draw better, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. I could draw Jean Grey in that scene better than that. But there's also just like these scenes right here where we get Emma Frost here, where we see, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but look at her right here in this scene. She looks like a little just skinny like teenage girl. I don't know, like she, and just look, and it's just inconsistent here. Let's flash here to Cable, or not Cable, but Bishop. Look at Bishop. Why Bishop look all, dude? He looks all tiny. Look at you said that. It's just very, very plain going on here. And then the inconsistency in the art here, too, because then we see it, we find Emma right here again. The art here is just inconsistent. And then you can see, oh, look, we get another shot of Emma, and look, she looks different again. Just the art here is very inconsistent with her look. Look, a Bishop looks. I mean, his look is inconsistent throughout this whole thing. I don't even know what the hell he's wearing here. Once again, let's look a little bit more Emma Frost. Like we're getting like how many different looks does she have? Look here, she looks different again. She looks different there. Just the art in this book was really inconsistent this time. And altogether, I would show you more, but I mean you'll see when you read this book. I've got to say, this is probably the worst art I've seen out of one of these Marauders books. And yeah, like even getting to Magneto, what's this Magneto? Like, is Magneto 15 again? Like, I don't know. Well, one of the last books I remember seeing him in, he looks kind of old. He looked older. But then let's get here to Bishop again. What's with this little what's with this little skinny twig neck? What's with that long neck? What's going on here? Once again, I mean, look, we can even see like Emma Frost, like she looks different again here. They're just like the art in here. It's not like super terrible, but then look at this. I don't know. Like, see if that'll focus there. Then that right there. It just, I don't know. It just looks all. There's so many inconsistencies in the art in this book, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of this book. But the art really. It really kind of slapped me in the face a couple of times throughout this book. I'm just kind of like, man, the story itself was pretty good. Jerry Dugan's still doing a good job, but the art really didn't do it for me here. Altogether, though, what's going on in this book was very good. You guys need to make sure that you check this out this week. I guess that's all I really have, man. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I went on a little bit too long about this. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below about Marauders issue number 9. Have you read it? If so, what are your thoughts? Let's talk about it down in the comments. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell, you know all that good stuff. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you like, it's all good. I'm not that worried about it, but make sure that you share with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of the week. Go out and read some awesome comic books, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.